Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Islamic sect Boko Haram has released a new video threatening to kidnap Nigeria's president, Muhammadu Buhari. The footage, narrated in Hausa, is said to have been shot somewhere in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, where the sect has its base. It showed suspected terrorists preying on what the narrator said is an Eid ground on Saturday on Monday. The video was posted on YouTube on Tuesday, and the group said it was using it to send out message that it remained a strong force in the northeast. The terrorists have lost several territory they once controlled as the Nigerian military continues its onslaught against them. The group's leader Abubakar Shekau did not appear in the new video. The sect described the president as an infidel and threatened to capture him. Meanwhile, authorities are yet to comment on the new footage. 7 Nigerian soldiers have been confirmed dead with 8 others wounded after a clash with the Boko Haram sect. This is according to the Nigerian army. In a statement issued late on Tuesday, the army said the 2 attacks took place in Niger's southeastern Difa region near the border with Nigeria. 30 members of Boko Haram were, however, killed in the clash, which took place on Monday near the village of Tumo. Boko Haram has been trying to establish an Islamic state adhering to strict Sharia laws in northeastern Nigeria since 2009. About 2.1 million people have been displaced and thousands have been killed during the insurgency. Boko Haram's 7-year insurgency has also spread to neighboring Niger, Chad and Cameroon. Officials of the Nigerian Air Force involved in the fight against Boko Haram have asked to sustain the fight in order to reduce the activities of the Islamic sect to the barest minimum. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, who was represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, James Boom, gave the demand in Maiduguri and Yola while observing the Salah holiday with the troops. He told the troops that the federal government was backing them with the provision of modern equipment of warfare and improved welfare services. Nigeria's Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has said the country's overdependence on oil is to blame for the recession the nation is currently passing through. He said the prevailing economic situation was not about trading blames, as those who understand knew that this recession was bound to happen in such circumstances. He said the crash in global oil prices exposed the country's defective economic policy, with oil accounting for over 60% of the nation's gross domestic product. The minister said the situation was further compounded by inadequate reserve to cushion the effect of oil misfortunes on the country. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics says at least 19,000 Nigerians lost their public sector jobs between October 2015 and March 2016. The Bureau said although about 5,900 new public sector jobs were generated between October and December 2015, over 10,000 jobs were lost during the period in the public sector of the federal, state and local governments. An analysis of the jobs created for the quarter showed that 21,000 came from the formal sector, consisting of formal professional services with less than 10 employees. About 61,000 jobs came from the informal sector in the first quarter of 2016. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says it would embark on a warning strike action in government universities across the country on October 2nd. The strike is expected to last for just 1 week. In a statement issued, ASU said the strike became imperative after the federal government had failed to embark on meaningful dialogue with the union. ASU has been trying to get the attention of the federal government to intervene in the academic system of universities across the country. The union says if the government does not listen to its demands, it will commence an indefinite strike action in November this year. It urged the federal government to implement the 2009 agreement it reached with the union in order to avert another industrial action by the nation's public universities. The leadership of the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB, has distanced itself from the violent activities of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. The group also denied leader of the group, Nnamdi Kanu, as one of its members. MASOB came out on Tuesday to address journalists during the celebration of the group's 17th anniversary. The group has been clamoring for the independence of the southeastern region of Nigeria.
Our struggle to get Biafra will be based on non-violence. And that is where we anchored. The next one is our God in heaven. So anybody again that will introduce anything that's contrary to that is not We don't accept that. It is not acceptable to us. So Nnamdi Kanu was formerly a MASOB member, but he decided to part away from MASOB, accusing our leader that our leader embezzled money, our leader embezzled this, while he's not even near to the first 1 million people our leader recruited into this struggle. And we are not looking for any money. I would not invest any money. Anybody who wants to know what MASOB has achieved should go to Owerri and see where MASOB headquarters is, where it is located. You will see Ojukwu Memorial Library built by MASOB. Go to Okigwe, you will see where Wazike built two-bedroom flat to all the former Biafran veterans. Those they dropped at Oji River after the Nigerian Biafran Civil War. There are more than 200 people with their family, and Wazike were paying their school fees of their children, give them scholarship, free education to all their families, even medical care and so many other things, free. So Wazike did not embezzle any MASOB money. Wazike is pure and sound. We are his men working with him. We are not looking for anything. He's leading us perfectly. So Nnamdi Kanu decided to part away, and we will not stop him not to go away. It happened in South Africa, when Robert Sobukwe decided to part away from Nelson Mandela and form Southwest African People's Pan-African Congress and form his own. While at the end of the day, what they were asking for is the freedom of South Africa. By the time they got freedom of South Africa, all of them, they unite together, they came together. So I don't think that we have any problem with anybody. But Wazika is not the one holding Nnamdi Kanu. It's the Nigerian government that holds him. We have the one called Zionist movement, called Onwoka. They were former MASOB members. They parted away, felt that maybe the ideology of Wazika that is based on non-violence, they are not comfortable with that. And we cannot force anybody who says he's not comfortable with our principle of non-violence. MASOB is rooted under non-violence. So if you cannot abide by that, we open the door for you to find your square root.
The movement for the actualization of sovereign state of Biafra is 17 years today. And by the infinite mercy of God, we hit on non-violence. Uwazurike is the answer. And we have vowed we cannot remove life we did not create. You can plant a tree and cut down your tree. You can build a house and bring down your house. But you cannot bring the life of a human being you don't know how it came about. We are non-violent, and we will continue to make sure we stand on non-violent principle till the end of the... Yes, really we have gotten Biafra. We have really gotten Biafra. I glorify the Almighty God, telling the Biafran, the Easterners, that they should go about their normal duties without violence, without anything. We have gotten Biafra. We are now in movement for independence. We are programming the day of our independent day. Because the day of our independence, we will invite the whole world to come and eat and dine with us. Because we have gotten Biafra.
President Muhammad Buhari has called on Nigerian youth, particularly those from the southeast region, to focus on promoting one Nigeria and forget about Biafra. The president said this while addressing National Youth Service Corps members who visited him in his residence in Katsina State. President Buhari pledged his commitment to the unity and prosperity of Nigeria and urged the youths to remain focused in life. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has called on private investors to invest in the country's rail system. He says the Nigerian transport system needs to return to rail for cargoes and movement of other heavy items. The minister was speaking during an inspection of construction works on the Apapa Link Bridge at the Tinkan Island in Lagos. Our correspondent Abiola Ismail now reports.
It's been 7 years since the construction of this bridge started. The company that was awarded the contract of building the bridge say they had to abandon their project owing to insufficient funds. But today, with the release of funds, work has commenced on the project. The contractors expect the bridge to be completed in the next 6 months.
Well, how could we have designed a project by a water body without shoreline protection? And why did you accept the design?
The bridge was designed to serve as a support to the existing bridge at the end of a proper bridge where trailers usually park and put pressure on the bridge. The contractors claim they were paid last in 2014, and coupled with the present economic recession in the country, they could have to stop work.
Say since half of October, beginning of November, we can start.
But we are
already working.
We are already working.
Unfortunately, we cannot push because water delays
for
are
instance,
moving.
The concrete slab, we cannot cast in the rain. So
I understand. Although the Minister of Works, Housing and Power, Babatunde Fashola, expressed reservation to the construction of another bridge at the ever-busy Apapa Liverpool end, where he said he would have preferred a rail system to transport the cargo. He said the contractor will need to forgo a portion of their profit if there is a need to review the budget for the bridge.
instead of building and reviving the rail tracks, the same containers and tankers can be configured to run on rail. You have seen that this administration is now moving cattle from north to Lagos for Salah, and that is the way we should go in order to save our roads, in order to avoid this kind. This is an emergency intervention, really. This is the reason why the Ijora Apapa Bridge failed. With an efficient rail system, which the Ministry of Transportation is now working to deliver, we might not have needed this.
This bridge, when completed, will serve as a link bridge for trailers to the already constructed trailer park at Apapa. The bridge was inaugurated in 2009 by former President Goodluck Jonathan, but because of lack of funds, the contractor abandoned the site. With the mind of completing the existing but uncompleted projects, it is hoped that the heavy traffic on the Apapa Bridge will be a thing of the past when this bridge becomes functioning. Abiola Ismail, TV360 Lagos.
The earth tremor that occurred in Kaduna State has continued to cause more fear among residents. The tremor struck twice on Sunday and in the early hours of Monday, September 12, 2016. Many people were badly traumatized by the disaster, and those who could not overcome the shock have fled from their homes to neighboring communities due to the fear. Although no life or property was lost, they say it would be a long time before they would recover from the shock. Few buildings were also affected by the incident, and owners of such buildings now live in fear. But the state governor, Nasir El-Rufai, has urged the residents of the state to remain calm. Arik Air, Nigeria's largest airline, cancelled all flights on Tuesday in what it called a temporary disruption related to insurance renewal. While the company initially warned the disruption was likely to continue for the next few days, it has resumed operations on Wednesday. Arik, which flies to London, New York and Johannesburg, also has a maintenance contract with Germany's Lufthansa. Nigerian airlines and international carriers operating within the country have struggled with a plunge in the local currency, which is the Naira. This has made it very difficult to get US dollars to buy jet fuel and also to remain profitable as passengers pay in Naira. Two other local carriers, air contractors and First Nation Airlines, recently suspended operations, though the government says both of them would eventually reopen. The Nigerian Navy says it will partner with the French Navy in a bid to fight pirates in the Gulf of the Guinea. In a statement issued, spokesperson for the Nigerian Navy, Commodore Chris Ezekobe, said the exercise is geared towards sharpening skills in anti-piracy and anti-illegal fishing. Codenamed Exercise Nemo, the operation is being conducted in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy as well as navies of Gabon, Cameroon, Benin, Togo and Ghana, among other countries in the Gulf of the Guinea. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at business and sports stories. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country. What is wrong with you? Man saying no? Said I drew for more than 1 hour.
Ìyá mi, ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ká kúrò fún Ọlọ́run. Ká satisfy yín níbi ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe.
Ẹ wo jẹ́ ká lọ tare ká kúrò nbi báyìí.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú. Hello ọ̀gá. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín lẹ́sẹ̀ yín. I am assure you 5 minutes. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
You are deceiving another customer just like you deceived us.
The same way he deceived us.
Eh? Why?
Ètò ni iṣẹ́ yìí. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun, ò lè jẹun. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun ìyá mi. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun. Workshop mi lélẹ́yìí. Ibi tí èèyàn bá ti ń ṣe
nothing ń jẹ ìyẹn ló ń pè ní workshop ibi tó bá ti ń work ní kó má ti shop.
You cannot base your business on lies. Go down now. It is corruption and it cannot work. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Oil prices bounced back on Wednesday after falling by as much as 3% in the previous session. The American Petroleum Institute API reported a crude build of 1.4 million barrels for the week ended of September 9th, smaller than the 3.8 million barrel rise expected by analysts. Brent crude futures were trading at $47.39 per barrel, while U.S. crude was up 38 cents at $45.28 per barrel. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Russia are maintaining the production freeze talk ahead of a meeting on the subject in Algeria on September 28. Zimbabwe's opposition parties say they will hold a protest despite a ban on such actions. The protests are expected to hold on Saturday throughout the country with or without police clearance. The protesters are determined to press the country's electoral body for free elections in 2018, weeks after another planned demonstration turned violent. Police on August 26 fired tear gas and water cannon at opposition leaders and hundreds of demonstrators at the anti-government protests before unrest swept across large parts of the capital. 18 opposition parties under the National Election Reform Agenda say the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is biased in favor of Robert Mugabe's ruling party and is run by security agents loyal to Mugabe. The parties want the next vote in 2018 to be supervised by international observers, including the United Nations. A media outlet for the so-called Islamic State says that the 3 women killed trying to attack the main police station in the Kenyan port city of Mombasa on Sunday were ISIS supporters. The group's Amaq news agency on Tuesday confirmed this. In the attack, 3 robed women tricked their way into a police station, stabbed an officer, and set fire to the building. Militant attacks, mostly carried out by Al-Shabaab from neighboring Somalia, have increased in recent years in Kenya. Sunday's attack in Mombasa appeared to be the first claimed by ISIS on Kenyan soil. Team Niger's contingent at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games have continued their impressive form at the Games. The country won 2 more gold medals and 1 bronze to take its tally to 6 gold medals, 2 silver and 1 bronze. This gives the country a total of 9 medals. The Nigeria now leads Africa's medal haul and is 10th on the overall table. The Games are expected to run till September 18, 2016. Super Eagles technical advisor General Rowe has reacted to news making the rounds that he rejected the accommodation given to him by the Nigerian Football Federation for his stay in Nigeria. Rowe, who managed the Eagles for the first time in a 1-0 home win against Tanzania earlier this month, expressed dissatisfaction at the way people quoted him out of context. He said such actions is an attempt to derail him from the core assignment at hand. Alexander Catherine has been named as the new president of UEFA, Europe's football governing body. Seferin will replace Michel Platini after beating fellow candidate Michael Van Praag in Wednesday's elections. The 48-year-old will take on the remainder of Platini's term of office until 2019. Speaking at UEFA's Congress, disgraced former UEFA president Michel Platini insisted he had done nothing wrong and said his conscience was clear as he gave a farewell speech. The Frenchman resigned in May this year after being banned from the sport for 4 years for ethics violation. Well, that's all we have on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okuru.